was the whole conversation ever since we started was building up. There were questions, first Lindsay, then Amanda, then me, and every time I was thinking, this is the next logical question. And I have a question, but I was hesitating to ask. And then Amanda says, I have a question about channeling. And that was precisely what I was thinking. Because for weeks now, I think, or maybe it's built up longer, I feel the desire to channel, like a logical next step of expansion or something. But I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to do it. Can you elaborate?
So what you're looking is to see variety of ways for you to express what you know within you, what you're receiving in blocks of thoughts. Costa just recently, just days ago, has had conversation with Armand, understanding really what was happening all of his life. Everyone has their more natural ways as a starting point for expression of a life force. The most genius people in your history have not been one-sided creators. They've been multifaceted creators of being scientists and artists, and all of that being, as you call, channeled. In other words, allowing themselves to find the balance between their own question-answer dance. So much so that sometimes they would pour out all these ideas into physicality, and then based off of that receive more ideas to go back wide and then bring them again into physicality. And so there's plenty of ways, infinite ways for you to do it. Not everyone gets the benefit of being in this place of interaction of this kind, because for some this is not beneficial. And so that's why infiniteness of impacting others in their way can come through from variety of forms. So if your precise desire is to have this particular experience, to speak while you're in a perspective of everything that exists, you will find a way to quiet your mind enough and to start deciphering between what are your focused self thoughts coming through based off of your own observation, and then coming to the place of quiet mind where you then start receiving the thoughts. And we would suggest you go easy about this. First, to see those, to recognize those thoughts, and then eventually get to the place of such satisfaction and steadiness about this, and slowly interacting with others to see how it goes. Over less than a year, May 3rd was the first official broadcast, only 5-6 weeks after original first receiving Costa had. Costa and Armand could not wait to start sharing this with their friends. There was few people who showed up. Few people, there was confidence on Costa's side and Armand's side that this will be a satisfying experience, but it was the process before that that got to move in more consistent way. And so from those first 3 people showing up at the broadcast to hundreds now being affected in a positive way from interacting with these particular flows that are happening week in and week out and in all in-person events, and through interacting with variety of materials and more of them to come in the future. Therefore, there is more and more ease and steady and satisfaction. Whatever you desire to be the way can be the way. We just want to bring to your attention that it's not the only way. Costa does not do this kind of quote-unquote work. In other words, he would get and be in a place of kind of unfocused in conversation with others, or while he's playing tennis, or while he's teaching dancing, or while he's washing dishes, or while he's in conversation with a friend, or while he's painting, whatever is the expression that is there. Because once you get to this place of soft knowing and steadiness and balance, you're able to hear your own thoughts, you're able to hear your pointed thoughts slightly different from your thoughts that are from a wider perspective. All of them now maybe being a little bit more in a place of mixing and matching together, this positive and this negative and this focused and this unfocused. But once you start seeing through them, they will light up with such clarity within you. What have you received, or what have you thought from that wider perspective, and what have you received and what have you thought from that perspective of focus. All of them beneficial to you, even for the process of receiving itself, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it. But with a little bit of practice, you can really experience anything that you desire.
And is it recognizable? Is it different from your own thoughts? Because your thoughts come from focus, you say. But is it? Can I recognize what the difference is between me and me?
What you can witness is the blendedness of you and you having variety of expressions. In other words, wider perspective expression and then your narrow perspective expression. And you will see and you will know if this is your desire, and will be clear to you as a day, what is it? If not, there's so many other ways for you to find them. In other words, you're not going to go and start really sifting and sorting throughout your thoughts, through your feelings of, is this received or this is thought? Is this from the place of self? Is this place from a wider perspective? In other words, be easy about it. It's happening already. All you have to do is relax and listen.
Thank you. I love you.
Really satisfying conversation. Go ahead. We're ready.